Bagenzi harohe kichweka ekinkumanya kikahumba ruhanga ubuyemera hansozi olengeresi amare Fort TV ikara osemerirwe. Fort TV, stay entertained. Bagenzi harohe kichweka ekinkumanya kikahumba ruhanga ubuyemera hansozi olengeresi amare.
Hello viewers, welcome back to yet another episode of Mind Talks with Sandra. Thank you so much for tuning in to Fort TV. You're doing a very good job. Good evening everyone. Hope you're really doing great and hope you had a very good day as I did. Thank you so much for always tuning in on here. So tell a friend to tell a friend that we have started our show today. So this is Mind Talks with Sandra, where we believe that mental health conversations are crucial, and we do believe that healing can just start with just a simple conversation. I am your host Sandra. I'm a counselor by profession and a mental health advocate and a co-founder of Serene Mind Care Network, an organization dedicated to supporting young people's mental health. So today we're going to talk about a topic which is really crucial but underrated, or it is underrated, let me say like that. That is self-love. You know, we always hear self-love, but we don't know what self-love is. And we are living in the world where we are always told that we are not enough. You're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not productive enough, you're not thin enough, you're not big enough. Like, you are not enough. But what I've realized that self-love isn't just vanity. It isn't arrogancy. It isn't selfishness. Self-love is the foundation of each and everything in your life. It's like everything rotates around it. Your mental health, your career, your relationships, your, like everything that you do, it's fundamental, because love isn't just vanity or arrogance. It is where everything in our lives is built. So your relationships, your career, your mental health, your goals and all that, they all stem from how you treat yourself, or how you as a person feel about yourself. So today we are going to dive into this conversation. So feel free, please do not shake, and this is a safe space, so feel free to be on. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in, because we're going to talk about self-love. How best can we start practicing it, and how we can, let's really try to understand it even more. So let's start by let me start by telling you what self-love is. So the Bible tells us, love your neighbor as you love yourself. That means you won't be able to love other people if you can't love yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup, right? If you have this cup and you want to pour in another cup, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Of course, you need to have a cup that has water or something so that you can pour it to other cups, right? So if you as a person, you cannot pour from an empty cup, you cannot give what you don't have. So everything starts with you. As I've told you before, that everything in our lives, or like the careers, the relationships, our mental health, they all stem from how we feel or how we treat ourselves. So you cannot say you cannot start telling people to love you, or you cannot say that you love people if you can't love yourself. That means you don't really understand what love is. So today let's dive into what is self-love, what it is. So self-love has a lot, but let me try to break it down for you. Self-love takes in you as a person. You're in position to be compassionate with yourself. Like most of us really want to criticize ourselves. Like every time you get into a problem or you fail at something, you're always so eager, you're always so fast to criticize yourself, to always say that you're not good enough, maybe you're stupid, you're not worth it, you're not great, and all that. Yet if other people come to us when they have failed or something, we always try to talk with them with a lot of kindness, with a lot of compassion. You're telling them everything will be fine, everything will be all right, and all that. Yet you forget to do it to yourself. That means you don't love yourself enough if you speak with yourself with a lot of criticism. But no, I'm not here to judge you. By the way, we are here to learn. We are here to learn. And self-love takes in you having to set healthier boundaries. Most of us, let's learn to say no, let's learn to not overdo. Like when you feel like you're so exhausted, it's okay to say no. And also when you set healthier boundaries, it's easier for people to relate with you because they know what you want, what you don't want. Like they know your principles. Just imagine that you're dealing with a person who has boundaries. You will know. Let me take an example. Someone doesn't like, maybe they prefer people who keep time. And if they tell you that we have to meet at 8, you know that you have to be there at 8. That means you even makes it simpler or easier for people to relate with you because they know what you want. Yeah, but most of us we are always angry at people for treating us in a way they want because maybe they don't treat us the way we want, but we've not been able to communicate those boundaries. So self-love takes in you as a person to set healthier boundaries and be in position to communicate them to people. So self-love also takes in you as a person to be able to take care of your mental health and your physical health. Like if you love yourself that much, you can't do certain things that might drain you. If you love yourself so much, you can't ignore or neglect yourself. You can know, okay, today I need to take care of my mental health, or today I have to take care of my physical health. You can't, when they say, let me take an example. They have told you maybe in that forest, there is, maybe when you go there is maybe a lion that might eat you. Would you go there? That means you love yourself that much that you cannot dare go in that forest to be eaten by a lion. So that's how you have to do it in these normal life settings. So if you feel like you always have to do certain things that are really good for your mental health and your physical health. And also self-love takes in you as a person to always forgive yourself with whatever you have done as a person, because we are all human. What you have to know that we are all human. So try as much as you can to forgive yourself with whatever that you have done in the past. You've trusted those people and they disappointed you. You as a person, they warned you to do something and you kept on doing it and backfired, and now you're always regretting why you did it. You're always blaming yourself. You're always trying to to beat yourself over it. Please and please, self-love takes in you to forgive yourself with whatever that you did, so that life can really move on. And also self-love takes in you as a person appreciating who you are, appreciating who you are and accepting who you are with all your flaws. I'm not saying that you should be bad-mannered and all that, but accept who you are, whether you're looking like how, or I'm not saying that you should limit yourself for improvement, but you cannot improve what you've not accepted. And we all believe that most of the times acceptance is the beginning of maybe you are. So accepting who you are without even all the flaws, You know, we are just human, and every one of us has their own flaws. So for you to accept your own flaws, to you to accept how you were created, is one way of you loving yourself, because we have certain things that we cannot change on our bodies or on ourselves, but also we have some flaws that we can change, though we are just human. So the first step to healing or to changing is you to accept who you are, your flaws, and find ways on how you can change them. But before, you have to first accept, like, okay, you know, ono yenze, this is who I am, and I would like maybe to be better. But before you do all that, self-love starts with you accepting who you are. And then what self-love is not. Self-love, you know, when we talk about self-love, someone is like, oh, self-love is selfish. No. Self-love is not selfish, and narcissism, by the way. Self-love is also not you as a person being complacent about your situation. You're like, I love myself that much, so I have to fast. Maybe let me sleep long hours. Let me not stretch myself. No, my dear, it is not you being complacent about your goals. You have it that in your mind that you love yourself that much that you don't want to see yourself even losing. Yeah. And also, self-love is not refusing to grow. You know, some of us are like, okay, they have told us to love ourselves with all our flaws, and you're like, okay, let me keep my flaws with myself because I love myself that much. No, my dear. Self-love means you are able to love yourself with your flaws, but you're ready to grow, to get feedback from people, for people to tell you, maybe to give you feedback, and you're ready to receive it, you know. And also, self-love doesn't mean that you're confident 24/7. You know, we are just human. So, and some of us, when we find ourselves not confident or not feeling good about ourselves, at a certain point, you feel like we've lost it or we've failed as people. No. Self-love takes in, as I told you, take an example. You have that close friend. She comes to you crying, sobbing, and all that. You treat her with a lot of kindness, compassion. You always speak to her with a lot of positivity. You're like, okay, please relax. Things are going to be okay. You're going to be great. You're going to, you know, make it in life. These are just a temporary thing. Something like that. So that is something you should do to yourself when you feel like you're not, things are not working out. You're not feeling good at that day. You've gotten a disappointment. That's when you should even come into yourself, comfort yourself, like even the more. Use the same words you would have used to a friend. Start taking yourself as that friend, you know. Speak to yourself with a lot of kindness, with a lot of compassion, with a lot of positivity. But most of us, what we do is we are our number one critics. You're always there to criticize yourself. And yes, maybe someone out there might be like, okay, I've tried to do self-love, I'm practicing it, but I don't know why it isn't coming out. I'm not, you know, I'm not getting what I want. I'm not loving myself enough. So these are some of the blocks some of us face when we are trying to practice self-love. Number one is childhood traumas or childhood experiences. Most of us grew up from families where we are told that we are not good enough. We are being compared with other people. Maybe let me take an example. You're a child, you grew up in a house whereby your mother could compare you to the neighbors or to your own siblings. So let me take an example. This guy is called Alfred Adler. Those who do psychology know about him. So that guy used to be a sickler. Like, he used to have a lot of sicknesses when he was growing up, and his mother thought this boy would not even make it in life. So you'll be like, you know, my child, I don't know, so you're seeing the appreciating all your siblings, but for you, your mother is like, oh, Nazara ne Nazala loss. So you grew up with that. You're like, okay, me, I'm a loss. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough because I grew up with the sicknesses. Or maybe you grew up being told that you will never make it in life. Like, most of us grew up from different families, and everyone has their own stories. And that's why they say we all, even if you are from the same family, same mom, same dad, we all experience our parents differently because they all treat us differently, given our abilities, talents, and all that. So have it in mind that some of us, the thing that's why our self-love is being blocked is because of where some of us came from, the words we were being told at school, in class, at home, with our peers, and all that. And secondly, the society we grew up from, and the cultures. We have some cultures which say that women always have to be down, we always have to be below, you always to be selfless and all that. So you grew up with that and you feel like, I'm a woman, I can't love myself that much, I have to put other people first before I put myself first. I'm not saying that I shouldn't put people first, but sometimes there's the way some cultures made some maybe women or men, because there's some men who are told that you as a man, you're not supposed to show emotions. You are a man, why are you even showing emotions? Why are you even crying? Why? But remember, we said self-love takes in you as a person to be in position to take care of your mental health. So, and another block can be our past experiences. That could be maybe you had that relationship, it didn't go well, that person was maybe a narcissistic person, they could always downgrade you, they could say that you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough. I had a friend, she was dating this guy, and this guy could always come back home and say like, why aren't you brown? Because she was black, and this guy even started buying Vaseline, like bleaching Vaseline to her. It's like, you have to get brown, you have to be brown, and me, I like brown women and all that. So this person right now is here and she's like, okay, maybe I'm not beautiful enough because I'm not brown. My ex wanted brown ladies and I couldn't maybe tick the boxes. Or it could be the other way around. Maybe you're a man and your woman is telling you that you're not tall enough, you're not masculine enough, and you feel like maybe this person, this relationship, there's a way it affected you, your self-worth. You're like, maybe I should bleach a bit, or maybe I should go to the gym, or maybe I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not productive enough, and all that. So those relationships, those experiences we've went through as people can also hinder our self-love process. And also another so we have the comparison culture. Most of us, we are now in the social media era. Like, we are all seeing people posting their lives out there, their true life, the ones who are faking it and all that, and we are always thinking that maybe for us we are not favored enough, we are not good enough. Or sometimes we compare ourselves to the friends group we have this friends group. Maybe it can be your workplace, it can be your group, and you're always comparing you're always comparing your life with other people, forgetting that you're comparing your behind the scenes to people's reels. Someone has posted their highlight reel, and for you, you're just there comparing your behind the scenes to someone is real. So have it in mind like that. So what you have to do to know that is everyone has their own journey. So every time you try to compare yourself, it makes you feel like maybe for you, you're not good enough, you are not great enough. Because I've always seen people in the comment section, and some people type in, God, what did I do to you? Or God, am I just a tree? I've always seen those comments, and I know some people can be joking, but some people are really meaning it. And someone really is stressed over other people's lives they post on social media. You feel like maybe for you, you're left behind, other people are winning, and for you, you're not winning enough like them. And also another thing, the perfectionism. We always want to be perfect. We always want to show up perfect. We always want to do things which are perfect. We always want to show up like perfectionism. And every time maybe you try to do something and it doesn't come out so perfect as you expected, or every time you try out to do certain things and they do not come out as perfect as you expected, that's another way of making you feeling that maybe you're not good enough. Because the perfectionism in us, we want to show people that we are good enough, we don't want to be rejected, we want to fit in the society, we want to fit in our friends group. That's why we want to be perfect, do certain things in a perfect way. Yet sometimes it doesn't come out like that, and when it doesn't come out like that, we always feel the shame and guilt, and we always feel like maybe we are not good enough. Maybe. And as we are talking about self-love, someone might be like, why do I need to love myself? Okay, you've talked about self-love. How is it important to me? First of all, it is really good for your mental health, because when you love yourself, anxieties become minimal. When you practice self-love, depression becomes manageable. Hear me out. Here, you've got your back. you're not waiting for someone to validate you. You're not waiting for any external validations. You show up to yourself with a lot of compassion. So you're in position to manage your mental health. And also number 2, it is really good for our relationships. As I told you, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So when your cup is full, it's easier for you to pour into other people. Even the Bible tells us, as I said, you cannot love your neighbors as you love yourself. That means everything starts with you. So your relationships are a reflections of the relationship we have yourself. Okay, self-love is also important for your relationships. As I said before, you cannot pour from an empty cup. That means you have to have something in here to pour in this cup. Yes, and as the Bible tells us, love your neighbors as you love yourself. That means everything starts with you. It starts with you and you give others. So that means when you love yourself that much, it is easier for you to love other people. Yes. So, and by the way, the relationships we are in are a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. So when you accept mistreatment, that means you don't have boundaries. And remember, we said self-love is takes you to set health boundaries and communicate them. So when you stay in that toxic relationship, that means you don't have enough boundaries. And also here you're in position to, as I said, you have your back. You have your back. So when you are in a relationship that are not giving, that means you are not in position to set boundaries, to communicate your boundaries. But when you love yourself that much, it is easier for you to communicate your boundaries, to know when to leave, to even to communicate, to connect with people. You know, we have those people, you're trying to love them, but they are not lovable. You know, we've experienced those people. Like, some people are not lovable because they don't love themselves. So when you love yourself, it is easier for other people to even come to you because they see it. And let me tell you one thing, people will always love us. Let me say it in this way. We are a reflection of what we feel about ourselves. When you feel that you're ugly, most people will always say that you are, because that's what we always say. You always say that, when I am ugly, when I'm not beautiful enough, and definitely you will start to look like as if you're not good enough or you're not beautiful enough. But let me tell you one thing, if you constantly appreciate yourself, it will be easier for other people to even appreciate you. And also, we are a reflection of what we feel inside us. Every time you move out feeling like that, like you're so confident, your head is high, and all that, people can notice, and people will always treat us in the way that we treat ourselves, or in the way that we feel about ourselves. That's why most of us keep on attracting people who downgrade us, because most of the times we also downgrade ourselves. You're always like, okay, I'm not good enough. If you're not good enough, someone will treat you in a way that you are not good enough. Okay, another reason as why you should love yourself a little more, it really helps you even in career and success. When you love yourself a little more, it will push you, by the way, to even take those risks, ask for that pay rise. Like, you're able to take those risks, you're able to apply for opportunities because you love yourself that much. Or like, I cannot see myself, failing in life. You always show up to yourself, whether you fail or not. Remember, now we've learned, when you love yourself, you are in position to be compassionate about yourself. Even if you fail in the other sector, you can always show up again because you love yourself that much. And remember, success doesn't come to people who are comfortable or who are in their comfort zones. Success comes to people who are risk takers, who show up, who are go-getters. And when you love yourself that much, you will always be pushed to get more, to jump on other opportunities. And another thing as to why you should love yourself a little more is that it helps so much when it comes to your physical health. you know. So physical health comes in, like you start to improve on your physical health, not in a way that you do not like yourself, in a way that you're insecure, but you love yourself that much that you want to be physically okay. You'll go for that walk, you'll do the exercises, you will eat well, you will have that sleep because you need it, but not because you're like, okay, I'm in survival mode. No, when you love yourself that much, things just come, like, how can I say it, bijanga webize. You don't need to even put a lot of pressure. Let me tell you one thing about this brain. This brain always interprets what we call reality. You know, when you have your reality is what your brain interprets. So most times when you always fill it with a lot of kindness, with positivity, affirmations and all that, it will start to redirect you. We have something we call the subconscious mind, and that subconscious mind is what gives us what to do most times. The way you react to things, the way you react when you're angry, the way you react to people, to disappointments and all that. So when you always speak to your subconscious mind with a lot of positivity, gratitude, kindness and all that, it will always give you ways on how best you can achieve what you want. That's something that I learned about the brain. So most of us, we always blame our brain, our mind, be like, I'm an overthinker, I'm always thinking negatively. You're always thinking negatively because that is what you feed your brain. Start feeding your brain with a lot of positivity, and you see whether you will start to think negatively, because as I've told you, our brain interprets what we call reality. So basically, there's a few things that you should know about self-love, because self-love is not self-love is not selfish. Self-love is like you are in position to love yourself so that you can love other people, so that you can be a good citizen, so that you can be a good parent, so that you can be a good wife or husband, so that you can be a good friend. Because if you do not love yourself, even you will be a hater. Because if you hate yourself that much, how can you assure me that you can love other people? Definitely you will be hating them as well. So yeah, and these are some maybe, since we've shared about someone be like, okay, now I've gotten to know the reasons or the importance of self-love. Now how best can I achieve self-love? As I've said before, self-love takes in a lot of patience. That's what you have to know, because remember, as I've told you, we were all, when we were growing up, we went through certain things. We met people who disappointed us, we made mistakes, we've gone through traumatic events, we've gone through different things, and right now we are here and we want to learn how to love ourselves. So that means this self-hating is not going to just go away in just one day. Neither. It is just a process, and you need to show up each and every day. I told you, the moment you feel like you're not good enough, that is when you have to even show up to yourself even more, because that is when you'll need yourself even more. So it is a process, and you need to be consistent. You need to show up each and every day. I know sometimes it might fail, but always and always keep showing up. Number one, the first step to self-love is acceptance. Accepting who you are, accepting your flaws, accepting that can be your body, because most of us, if you do not accept your body, you don't be confident. You feel like maybe you're not good enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're not brown enough, you don't have those, maybe you're not tall enough, something like that. So if you do not accept who you are, sometimes it will be hard for you. It will be hard for you to love yourself, because if you do not accept who you are, let me take an example. They have given you something and you're like, you didn't love it, you did not accept it, you'll not be able to love it. But when you accept something, most times you find ways on how you should love it. So that is our number one step. So now we've talked about self-love, and someone is like, now how best can I love myself? what can I do to love myself? So number one is self-awareness. Self-awareness. Start to know, try, put in some effort to know who you are. You can start with your body scanning. You're like, okay, I have my hips, but I don't have the bum. I have a nice face, I don't have this. Like, try to know, like, how can I say it? Be intentional, the things you like and the things you do not like about yourself. Self-awareness comes in with your traits. You getting to know, okay, this is my trait that is not really good, but start humanizing them. You're like, I'm good at procrastination, but I'm not going to blame myself. But how best can I do the improvement, you know? Another thing, you kick off the comparison. You know, you stop comparing yourself to other people. You're like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I am. Let other people be as they are. You know, you don't need to compare yourself with other people. Instead of comparing yourself, try to see the goodness in you, that unique path you have. Because for me, I have a belief that everyone here on earth has a purpose, and they are unique. They are unique in any way. Like, everyone is unique from other people. Because anyone else is taken, everyone is taken. So you have you. You're unique in your own way. So find out, what is your purpose? What is that unique thing about you? What is the thing you love about yourself? What is the thing that you hate about yourself? Like, self-awareness takes in each and everything. You do, what can I, be more, what can I say? Better wa mazima joli. Ugambe biye bino byeninawo, biye bino byenjagala, biye bino byesagala. Know yourself, and also get to know your emotions. What triggers you during the day? Oh, what is that thing that triggers you so much? How do those emotions affect you? Okay, some of us, when you're emotional, you do certain things that maybe are not acceptable. Or when you're emotional, you lose it. When you're emotional, you start to speak negatively about yourself. And again, find out what is that negativity loophole. Like, what are those things that you always say to yourself? And when do you always say them to yourself? Is it at night when you're alone? Or is it every time you get a disappointment? Or every time that you do not do what you expected to do? Like, find out. Get to know yourself. You know how you react, you know your emotions, you know how you relate with people. Like, it helps you. Remember, you cannot change what you don't know, but now we want to know ourselves a little more. Number two, second step is accepting who you are. Now you found out who you are. Now we are in the process of accepting ourselves. You're like, okay, I have a few things that I do not have. This is how my head is. This is how my legs were built. So you start by accepting those few things about you, because another way to heal or to self-love is to accept who you are. Because we said everyone is taken. So every time you try to be like other people, that means you do not love yourself. But when you accept yourself, you're like, okay, now since I know who I am, now I've accepted myself, now where should I begin from? Let me take an example. Someone has given you something and you do not accept it, and someone like, let me just put it there, woman, would you love it? But when someone gives you something and you accept it, you'll find ways on how to love it. You'll find ways on how to fit into it. Like, if it's something that you have given to you, you find ways on how to use it. You find ways on how to optimize it and all that. So self-acceptance is also crucial. So after accepting who you are, our third step is the pick or the action, where now you've known who you are, you've accepted yourself, and now you're trying to act like you're into action. Some of the things you should do in this stage, the positive affirmations, like that mirror talk. You wake up every morning, you know, we've always been told that we are not good enough, you're not great enough, you're not strong enough, you're not productive enough. Now we are trying to reframe, because every time these people tell us those things, or maybe where you grew up from, your mother used to tell you that you'll be a failure, you'll be a loser, you're not beautiful enough, you don't tell enough, you're not acceptable, or something like that. So now we are going to try out too. We found out that maybe you have the negative self-talks. Let's try to reframe them. Those are the affirmations that you wake up every morning or every night. You can have your mirror or don't have the mirror. Anywhere you are, start speaking to yourself with a lot of positivity. You're like, okay, you know what, I am beautiful, I can do this, I am great. As I told you, this brain will always do what we tell it. So it's garbage in, garbage out. You cannot feed your brain with a lot of negativity and you expect to get positivity. So that means you have to fast. And something that I learned when it comes to positive affirmations, you do not affirm. You're like, I will be great, I will be rich, I will be beautiful. No. Start to tell it as if you are now. I am successful, I am great, I am beautiful. Like, start taking it as if you've already received it. Yeah? And your brain will try to redirect you as a person. And that's another thing you should do, that gratitude. Some of us, we jump or we skip that stage where we should be grateful. As I've told you, that our brain will always interpret our reality. So most times we always pick out the negative things. We always pick out the negative things about life, about ourselves, about people around us, and we forget that maybe there are also other good things about life. Let me take an example. You get your phone, when maybe you go to Google and you're like, what are the negative consequences or the negative effects of maybe eating an egg? So that Google will always give you the negative effects of eating an egg. But again, when you go to Google and you're like, what are the positive or what are the uses of eating an egg? It will give you the reasons, the good reasons as why you should eat what? An egg. So that happens with your brain. When you always scan for the negative things or for the bad things life has, life will always give you the bad things. But try to think about the good things life has given you. Start to think about, okay, I'm blessed. Some people don't have parents, me I have a parent. I'm blessed. Some people don't have what I have right now, me I have. Some people are in the hospital, me I'm not. Or some people are dead, me I'm still alive. That means I still have another chance. So start to be grateful with whatever you have at the moment, and your brain will start to think, oh, all along we are blessed, all along we have this, all along. So that means it will not always pick out the negative things in your life. It will always find also the good things, and it will be like, okay, I think we are worth it, I think we are great. Another thing in the action thing, try to journal down. Every time you feel like you're down, your emotions, your feelings, try to journal them down, because when you journal your feelings down, it's easier for you to know what you're feeling and how to go about it. But that's why most of us think that our emotions always emotions are fuga. It is because we do not name those emotions. Because when you know you're angry, when you name that, oh, I'm angry, you'll be like, okay, when I'm angry I always shout, when I'm angry I always cause chaos. But now when you know that you're angry, you find other ways to calm yourself down. So try to journal down how you're feeling, your emotions, how your day went. It might not be journaling, you might speak to yourself. Me, I really hate writing, but I always speak to myself, because like I'm my number one fan, I'm my number one cheerleader. So I always speak to myself. Like I always utter out how I feel to myself. Like, you know what, today I'm not feeling okay, this and this happened. Like I always speak to myself because it makes me feel a bit relieved. But some people really love journaling down. So another thing that you can do when it comes to the action part, you setting boundaries. Now you will have people who really find it so hard to say no. For you mutu wa kugamba, you're always ready to act, even if you don't have the time, even if you're busy, you can't say no. So now start write down your boundaries. Like, okay, now if I'm in this position, I'll not do certain things. So no will be easier for you. And also have these people who are always find it so hard. Like even if they say no, they always explain themselves. You know, I want to be able to go because like you always have to explain a lot of yourself. Like so sometimes say no without even any explanation, unless otherwise. But maybe you can explain, but not that so much, as if someone is going to beat you because you said no. Another thing, when it comes to setting your boundaries, communicate them to people that you want them to know. Like me, I don't deal with people who do this. Me as me, and by the way, when you set those boundaries, be able to stand on them. So if you told someone, me and I don't like such this and this and this, and when they do it, please take action. Because if you do not take action, people will think that you are not serious. They will continue to violate your what? Your boundaries. So every time you set boundaries, make sure that you stand on them. And you as a person, make sure that you don't break your own boundaries, because people will not take you serious, or you not even take yourself serious. Because if you set the boundaries and you yourself break them, that means you lose confidence in yourself. Yes. So another thing that you should do as a person to love yourself, try to exercise. That is an action. Try to exercise. Exercising is really good because it makes you, I don't want to use a lot of scientific words, but it makes you a bit relieved and relaxed, and it gives you a clear mind on what decisions to take sometimes. Yes, so exercising is really good. Exercise doesn't mean that you should go to the gym. If you don't have money for the gym, walk around. If you can't walk around, skip a rope. If you can't skip a rope, I don't know what you should do, but make sure that you exercise. Different ways of exercising. And also mindfulness, trying to breathe in and out. Most times, every time I feel I'm so anxious or you're stressed and all that, breathe in. There's what we call the psychological sing. You breathe in through your nose twice, and then relax a bit, and then breathe out through your mouth, and then after relax a bit. So that trick always works when you're feeling so anxious, when feeling so nervous, worried, or stressed. So when you breathe in and take all your mind to that breath. Yes. Another thing you can do, other things away from that, you can also seek for support, seek for counseling, because counseling is not for Bazungu guys. Everyone thinks that counseling is for white people, but even us the black people, we need it. So if you feel like you're really finding it so hard to love yourself and you would like an external support, seek for counseling, go for therapy. Counselors are there who are willing to walk this journey with you. So personally, I'm a counselor. You can always hit me up, and also other people. Counselors are there. I'm meaning professional counselors. And also most times when you find yourself overwhelmed by life, try, after you speaking to yourself with a lot of positivity and all that, try to speak to a friend, to a trusted friend. Most times when we share our problems, they say a problem shared is half solved. Like when you share it with a friend, it becomes even less heavier. Yes. And that's another thing. Let's try it. Let's have it in your mind that you're just a work in progress. Like you're just a work in progress. Today you might fail. You might fail to be consistent to your to this journey. But when you fail, do not just give up. Always just show up again and again and again and again and again and again, because you're the only person who you've got yourself. Even death cannot do you apart. Yes, because we don't know if we die. I don't know where we go, but you go with yourself. No, they cannot bury you together with your friend. Maybe they can bury you in the same, but I don't think, I've never seen anything like that. Like, God forbid, that parent can die, your child can die, your friend can disappoint, or they can die. You can separate from your friend, but you cannot separate from yourself. What does this mean? Make sure that you have a good relationship with yourself. Make sure that you're your number one fan. Before you expect other people to be your fans, before you expect people to pour into you, before you expect people to appreciate you, first do it to yourself. Because, like, love yourself that much. Nti byonna by'oyagala mu bantu abalala sooka obyewe if you can. Twagala, we want people to love us, but for us we can't love ourselves. First date yourself before you date other people, and see whether life won't be easier, because you've got yourself. Even death can do you apart. It can never do you apart. So be your number one cheerleader, and whatever you do, whatever decision you make sure that it favors you in any way or the other. Most of us, we want to over please other people. You do everything to please other people, but remember, even if you lie down straight, someone can say that you are not strong, you are not straight enough. That's what they say. I'm not saying that you shouldn't love people, you shouldn't help people, you shouldn't be around people and all that. What I'm saying is that in whatever you do, make sure that you do not hate yourself. You don't do things that might hurt you as a person. So another thing you should do to love yourself is forgive yourself for whatever you did, all the mistakes you did. You can own them up and you're like, okay, I made these mistakes, but yeah, this is life, I'm just human. I forgive myself because you've really held on too long to that to those negative or to those things that you did in the past. You're always regretting, you're always downplaying yourself because you feel like you're not worthy. But just forgive yourself and okay, I'm just human, I need to learn from my mistakes and then grow. Another thing you should do, always speak, I always add this, always speak to yourself with a lot of kindness and compassion. Like, speak to yourself like the best friend you love most. Speak to yourself like the person you treasure most. Yeah? So, and let me give you different scenarios. Maybe if someone criticizes you, instead of you saying, oh, maybe they are right, I'm not good enough, I need to change everything about myself, instead you can say, whatever they have said, that is their perception of me. They might be right or wrong, but I'll sit down and reflect a bit and see what I have to change. Another scenario is here. You made a mistake at work. Instead of saying that I'm incompetent, I'm not good enough, I think I shouldn't have done this and all that, instead say to yourself, like, I'm learning from this, and I do believe this is the mistake I've done. I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to find better ways on how to improve it. So always and always try to find ways on how you can speak to yourself with a lot of compassion and kindness. And these are some of the misconceptions. Most of us think that if I do have self-love, I'll be arrogant. No, my dear. Arrogant people need validation from people outside. You don't need any validation if you love yourself. That means you don't be arrogant. Because when you have a perfect relationship with yourself, it's easier for you to have a perfect relationship with people around you. That is I'm 100% sure of it. And then another thing, self-love is selfish. No. People who will really, really, really love you and who do not benefit from you abandoning yourself will always respect your boundaries. Will always respect. Me, I really love to work with people who have boundaries, because when I work with people who have boundaries, I get to know what they want and what they don't want. It's easier for me to work with those people who have boundaries rather than those people who do not have, because you don't know where to start from when it comes to dealing with them. So self-love is not selfish. You just need to set boundaries. As long as you're doing the right thing, my dear, it is not selfish. Another thing, I was reading something. I was watching a TikTok, and this girl posted herself, and she was like, I'm so beautiful, I'm so successful. Like, she was trying to tell people how beautiful she is, how she's successful, how she has done like many things, and people were commenting negatively, and they were like, "Wapi, that's not a big deal." And someone commented and said, "Everyone says love yourself, not until you actually do." That hit me. Like, people really love to see you at your level of abandonment, like when you abandon yourself, when you hate yourself, when you know. But when you show that you really love yourself, when you show that you have boundaries, people will always be intimidated by you. But nevertheless, remember, we are our own, or we are with ourselves still. Even death can do us apart. So never mind, because the right people who respect your boundaries will always come. So those are a few things about self-love that you should know. And what you should know is that self-love is a process. As I said, you can't just unlearn what you've been knowing for the past years, but you can really learn to adjust with life. You can really learn to adjust with yourself when you take into consideration of what I've really shared. Yes, so we are going to have a challenge. Anyone can hop in. At least let's have a 30 days challenge. And what you should know, as I was reading, there's a book I was reading, and they said someone's behavior takes about 18 to 254 days to change. So with that, we need to be consistent with our goals, because when you do this, and today and the next day and the other day, and you do not do it again, don't blame me. Like, this woman shared some tips on here, but they're afraid to work for me. No, my love, you need to be so consistent. And the moment you're consistent, you know, this brain is used to shortcuts. So if for it was really finding it so easier to do negative self-talks, it is due to a certain thing. So you're introducing in a new thing, it might be hard for the brain to adjust, because our brain loves comfort and also loves shortcuts. So it's about you to always push something new to it, not until it readjusts. So we're going to have a challenge every day. At least when you wake up, try to think about something good, like be grateful for what you have in life. Even if you've just woken up, be grateful for that. You're like, okay, as long as I'm still breathing. Another, like anything, you have to, I want you to, this is a 30 days challenge. Yes. So when you wake up every day, it might be in the morning, but make sure that you do it at least every day. Write down the things that you're grateful for. Another thing, like affirmations. Say something that you want to achieve, or you say something that you want to achieve, but in a manner that you've achieved it already. So if you feel like for you accepting your body has been a problem, accepting your face has been a problem, accepting who you are has been a problem, accepting your traits has been a problem, say, maybe if you feel like if you've been feeling that you're not beautiful, say, I am beautiful. Like, start to affirm things as if you already have them. Not you're hoping to get them, but affirm them as if you've already had them. I am successful. I get what I want. Whatever I do, I achieve. Something like that. That is going to be your motivator for a day. Another thing you should do, always and always, every time you're alone, try to speak to yourself with a lot of kindness. Even if you're just alone, you know, when we're alone or when you're seated alone, negative talks, negative thoughts always come in. So every time like, say something nice about yourself. Appreciate yourself. Even if you woke up, maybe you decided to be waking up at 6, and today you've really done it, say, congratulate yourself. You're like, okay, even the small wins, celebrate them. You might not cut a cake, You might not go out, but you can do it from your home. You can just appreciate yourself. You can just do a little dance. You can anything that you want. And another thing, try to forgive. Write down the things that you blame yourself of doing, the mistakes that you've done, and try so much harder to forgive yourself. You're like, you know what, Sandra, I've forgiven you. They warned you not to do that, but you did it and it backfired. And this is what maybe you wouldn't have been in this situation you're in right now, but I forgive you because you're just human. But we can learn from this and move on. So try to do those things. Just for every day. You can, anytime you want. It can be in the night when you're going to sleep. It can be in the morning. It can be in the midday, lunch break, any break. Do the things every day. Another task. What else? Unsubscribe, by the way. Unsubscribe or unfollow the people you feel like they're not serving your purpose. The people you feel like they're not on the same. They're either intimidating you, they're making you feel less of yourself, or you feel like, no, they do not serve my purpose. Block them. Block that ex if you can. Okay, block. And even those people on social media, you feel like, okay, this person is life, I really want to be like this, but every time I watch this person, they intimidate me. I feel like I'm really less. First block them for a while. Or because when we see, ideally when we see people who are better than us, we are just inspired, but we do not compare ourselves. But if you feel like this person makes you compare yourself with them, or they intimidate you, it's okay. First block them for a while, or first unsubscribe from their channels for a while. Yes. And also set certain goals that you want to achieve and be committed to them. Do not start big, start small. It might be even waking up at a certain hour, sleeping early, limiting screen time, or calling a friend. Like, set those small goals and make sure that you achieve them. Because the moment you achieve the goals you set, the confidence will just come in. Be like, oh, I can always achieve what I said. So you start achieving pola after big goals. Yes. And by the way, what you should know is that self-love also takes in accountability, because you need to grow. So if people give you feedback, do not deny it. Meaning, me, I love myself that much, I'm perfect, no. Get feedback from people, but you weigh, you filter the feedback. Like, okay, whatever this person said maybe might be correct or might be true, so I can adjust. But not in the way that you're now feeling that maybe, oh, I'm Zenachida Vida on the Musil. No, don't do that. So that's how self-love is really a process, but when you master it, it gives you a lot of peace. Excuse me, it gives you a lot of joy. Just imagine you love dating someone and they make you feel butterflies and all that. Imagine you're dating yourself. You will even be more happier and more healthier and more, yes. So, and by the way, you should know that it's not all about perfectionism. You don't need to be perfect. You don't like, life is not going to move perfectly for you. But even if it doesn't, make sure that you always have your back. You always have your back. You always have your back. Before you call anyone, before you tell it to anyone, make sure that you have your back. Yes, because it is really important in this situation. So that is our challenge for this month. You can try it out. You can try it out and let us know whether it worked or not, but be consistent. So you can keep on adding in a few steps, the ones I shared prior. Yes, and you will tell me before we end the show. I want you to remember that self-love is so radical. Self-love is so radical in the world. Which profits insecurities. Loving yourself could be an act of resistance, and it shows an act of power. So from today onwards, I want you to know that you are worthy, not because of what you do, not because of what you look like, or not because of what you've achieved, but because you do exist. So from today onwards, I want you to show up to yourself like you would have shown up to a friend you like most. Be that person who speaks a lot of encouragement to yourself. Be the person who has your back regardless of what has happened. Yes, that is where self-love starts from. And I do believe that we can all achieve it. Thank you so much for tuning in to 4TV. And this is your favorite show, The Mind Talks with Sandra. We really appreciate you. And we do believe that healing can just start with a single conversation. So, always tuning in every Wednesday, 9 p.m. It's always a pleasure having you on here, having everyone on here watching us. Thank you so much. I am your host, Sandra. I'm a counselor by profession and the co-founder of Mind Care Network, an organization dedicated to supporting young people's mental health. Thank you so much for loving our show. Thank you so much for always supporting us. We love you all. Bye.